2025 looks to be a great year for movies, and in this video, we're going to break down all of the releases that are coming out and share some of our most anticipated. Welcome back to Movies Good, Internet Bad. I'm Corey, that's Shane, and let's dive right into this thing. We're going to break this down blockbusters first, smaller indie pictures second, and then if you hang through till the end, we're going to share our most anticipated films of the year. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you like movies, and if you haven't already, we make lots of videos about movies and television. It's exactly what you're looking for, so go ahead and click that subscribe button. So let's do this.
Let's go rapid fire. Let's do it.
Lightning round, baby. We're gonna fly through this thing. We're gonna go hopefully in calendar order for the blockbusters. Some of the indie films don't really have necessary release dates or whatever, so we'll fly through those too. But blockbusters, looks like the first big one is Captain America: Brave New World on February 14th. How you feeling about that one?
I don't care.
Come on, man, it's Harrison Ford. He's the Red Hulk.
Yeah, I'm going to give you a Harrison Ford response.
We'll talk about the other Marvel stuff later, and this is the one that I think has the least amount of pressure on it. Based on what else is coming.
You're the comic guy. Are you excited for that one?
I guess. I mean, I'm really excited to see Sam Wilson be Captain America in a feature-length movie and not just in a TV show.
Yeah, that's fair.
I hope it's good. My one concern is that it's not going to be good, and it would be a disservice
because I like to stay in the know and hip, but I'm not particularly excited for it.
Well, they didn't reshoot the movie at all.
Like 7 times or something.
Also coming out on February 14th is Paddington in Peru. The Paddington movies are
They're excellent.
98-99% on Rotten Tomatoes, right? People love them.
I think this one has a 92%, so it's maybe a dip.
We got a drop off.
But they're all delightful movies. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, and his little bucket hat is just adorable.
The Jeremy Strong bucket hat.
Jeremy Strong at the Golden Globes and Paddington. That's it. That's the club. That's them. March 21st. The internet will clearly have nothing to say about this one. It's Snow White starring Rachel Zegler. Shane, what are your thoughts on this movie?
500 Days of Dwarves. It's Mark Webb directing it, right?
Oh, is it really?
Yeah. So
no kidding. Wow. Okay.
That's the only particular excitement that I would have about it is direction, but I don't know. It's Snow White again. I will say that the best Disney remakes are the oldest ones, because those older movies are very short. Like the Cinderella remake was actually quite decent because the original is so short that in order to make it a live action, you have to add considerable amounts of things to it.
Sure.
And so they actually added some backstory and different scenes and stuff. And so that one was a little bit better than the rest of them. And maybe this follows suit. But yeah, it doesn't look particularly great. I do like Rachel Zegler though. She's very charismatic and she's got a great voice.
Yeah.
She was great in West Side Story. So maybe it'll be decent.
People on YouTube love her too. When I say they love her, they love the clicks and they love the money that her name brings in for hating her. I don't know.
It's amazing how many older males care about Snow White all of a sudden. For no reason at all.
Yeah. Snow White has been out for almost 100 years and now we care about it.
Yeah.
Got it. 10-4. Moving on to the month of April. Just kidding. We didn't find anything on our list for the month of April. May 2nd in that prime. Summer starts earlier and earlier every year, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. But that's the big Marvel slot is the Thunderbolts movie. And as the comic book guy, I'll say this one actually looks pretty good. I'm excited for it. The latest trailer, it sold me entirely. So I don't know how you feel about it, but
I'll give you the same answer. I don't care.
Okay. Well, let me give you the pitch.
Okay.
It's got Florence Pugh in it.
Yeah.
David Harbour, Sebastian Stan, Julia Louis-Dreyfus. There's a lot of talent in this movie. So I'm holding my breath that it's going to be good. The director of it directed the show Beef on Netflix, and he just did one of the most recent episodes of Skeleton Crew. Yeah. So I have faith that it could be good. So Thunderbolts, May 2nd. Later on in May, we have Tom Cruise running as fast as he can in Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. Shane, are you excited for this movie?
I am very excited for this one. Every Mission Impossible since 3 has been awesome.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna fade it now, right? Like it just seems like they keep doing better uh, each release that they come out with, and then uh, apparently this one's being pitched as the last one.
Final. It has the
Yeah,
word final
right,
in the
right.
title, right?
And I heard there was some drama behind the scenes about whether or not they wanted to market it as the last one or not, because final one, you might get the box office bump, but he kind of wants to leave the door open for maybe more. But
Mhm.
I don't know. I'm excited for it. Chris McQuarrie is awesome,
Yeah.
and I'm excited to see anything that he does. Although I will say, as excited as I am about this one, I'm kind of glad that it's coming to a close because I'd like to see McQuarrie do some other stuff.
Yes. Yeah,
Like
me
he's
too.
just been stuck in Mission, and Tom Cruise for that matter. They've been stuck in Mission Impossible land for so
Mhm.
long that you know I'm excited to see them spread their wings.
Yeah. I want him to retire Ethan Hunt, but pass the mantle to Glenn Powell and then
Yeah,
continue making Mission Impossible
has
movies
to,
from there.
right? Yeah,
Right? That seems like the logical
yeah.
conclusion. So also on May 23rd, another Disney live action remake. We got Lilo and Stitch. Do you care? I don't.
No.
Good. Moving on. June 6th, we have Ballerina, which stars Ana de Armas. It's a spinoff from the John Wick franchise. Do we need this movie?
I am notoriously behind on that series. I've only seen the first John Wick. I haven't seen that. I know, I know.
What?
It's one of those things that I just like never got around to.
Wow.
But yeah, so I can't say that I'm super excited about this because I haven't seen the other two. But
Okay.
Ana de Armas doing badass things sounds like a decent pitch.
Yeah, she did that for 12 minutes in the James Bond movie and kind of
Yeah,
like stole the film,
yeah,
right?
that's true.
In No Time to
That's
Die.
true.
So we'll see. I don't know if we need more John Wick stuff at this point. There have been four of those. It kind of feels like we've run its course,
I
but
feel like
uh,
that's going to be renamed at some point to like John Wick colon ballerina once they realize that like the ticket sales aren't
Parabellum,
materializing.
Keanu,
Yeah,
come
it
see Keanu. He's
something's
got to be in the movie.
yeah.
Um, yeah, we'll see. I don't know. So June 13th, yet another live action remake, but this time it's on the DreamWorks side. It is How to Train Your Dragon. Uh, I watched How to Train Your Dragon for the first time just a couple weeks ago,
Yeah.
and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. It also seems rather interesting that this movie comes out 2 weeks after a new theme park opens in Orlando, Florida, that has
Yeah.
an entire How to Train Your Dragon land. Shane, do you think that's a coincidence, or am I tinfoil hatting it here?
They are 100% doing the corporate synergy machine that Disney wanted to do, but
The machine
same
is
thing. Like,
activated. Is that what you're
yes,
saying?
exactly. But I it I've seen the preview. It looks like the animated movie, except uglier. So we'll see.
That's the typical pipeline, though, right? Is to
Yeah,
take an
it's what
animated
if we
film that's
made
got a
this
lot of
gray?
color and is
I
beautiful
need
and
it
just
to be brown and gray.
turn it
Said
all
no
down.
one ever.
Unreal. So also on June 13th is an original animated film from our friends over at Pixar. It's called Elio.
Hmm.
I have no idea what it's about, and I intend to keep it that way, but I'm going to go see it because I want to support original Pixar movies.
Do you want me to say the like tagline or the
Sure, go
synopsis?
for it.
It's like this kid believes in aliens, and then he ends
Okay.
up being right, and he gets abducted, and they think he's like the leader of Earth. So he has
Wow.
to go like pitch Earth to alien cultures or something.
I love it. I'm
Uh,
in.
Original Pixar, I'm in. They struck gold with Inside Out 2. So but hopefully they're back on their game.
Cool. Later in June, on June 20th, is 28 Years Later, which is the third movie in the 28 blank later franchise. Uh, I am excited for this movie for one reason.
Killian
The
Murphy.
entire thing was shot on an iPhone.
Okay, that too.
And just the fact that they're able to do that is incredibly cool. Uh, Also, I mean, they got Danny Boyle and Alex Garland together again,
Yeah.
which that's enough for me to be there night one to see it. Are you excited for that movie?
I haven't seen the first one in a long, long time, so
That's
I
because
may
you
have.
couldn't for a very long time.
That's
You
also
couldn't
true.
buy it; it was out of
Yeah,
print. It wasn't
yeah,
available on digital, but it is now. And there's rumors of a 4K coming out later this year
gotcha.
for it. So,
Yeah, so
um,
a lot of talent behind it. I'll probably see it.
Yeah. June 25th is the movie that seems like it was filming for several years, which is Joseph Kosinski's F1, starring Brad Pitt. Massive production from Apple Original Films. Are you excited for this one?
I'm actually really excited for this. I was a
Me
big Top Gun
too.
Maverick fan, and using that same technology in the F1 sphere uh, seems like a really good idea. And
Yeah.
Brad Pitt is involved, so obviously you're going to have that uh, charisma in there. But you know, filming on IMAX, that's going to be sick. Like
Oh, yeah.
those car shots are going to be insane.
Yeah, because
Similar
they
to
use
like
the
the
same. It's the cockpit cams from
yeah,
Top Gun, right? That
yeah,
are.
but in
Yeah.
the F1 cars, and it's seemingly timed pretty well because F1 has seen a huge kind of
Hmm.
blow up in the US after Netflix's Drive to Survive series
Yep.
came out. So a lot of people are interested in F1 in general, and so it's kind of like a perfect synergy.
Yeah, I agree. And it cost Apple like $250 million or something. So I'm guessing it's going to be very high production. Should be a lot of fun. Moving into the month of July, we're in peak summer now. July 2nd, Gareth Edwards is going to attempt to resurrect Jurassic with Jurassic World Rebirth with a screenplay from David Koepp, who is the original screenwriter from the first two Jurassic Park films. So uh, do you have faith in this one, or is Jurassic Park dead?
I am intrigued, if only for the talent involved. I think
Okay,
Gareth Edwards is a great director and a horrible writer, but
fair,
he is not writing this, so that is
correct.
good. However, the first two movies were adapted screenplays, and so I don't know how he's going to do writing an original screenplay for this one. So maybe you got to think it's going to be more of a soft reboot type of thing where they kind of play the hits, especially because it is the screenwriter of the first two. So maybe
Yeah,
we get some callbacks there. But at the end of the day, I'm excited for hopefully a very good looking Jurassic World movie. Like
yeah,
cinematography should be pretty stellar. So we'll see.
yeah, and it's got a good cast too. I mean,
Yeah.
Scarlett Johansson,
Scarjo.
Mahershala Ali,
Yeah.
Jonathan Bailey, who just had a standout performance in
Yeah.
Wicked earlier
Hmm.
this year. So we'll see. I think Universal had a little bit of a sour taste in their mouth after Jurassic World Dominion, which
Yeah.
was just awful. I don't think
Hmm.
they want Jurassic World to go out, on its back like that.
Yeah.
So, moving on into July 11th, James Gunn attempts to resurrect DC. There's a lot of resurrection going
Hmm.
on this year, is there not? We covered Superman when we
Yeah.
reviewed the trailer for it. This is a make or break movie for Warner Brothers and for DC. I'm very excited for it. I'll say that. I'll leave it there.
I care more about this than the Marvel stuff, but still not a ton. But we'll
Okay.
see.
Well, it's
I've
great
said
that you
we'll
say
see a
that
lot.
because on July 25th, Marvel is going to attempt to resurrect the Fantastic Four for not the second, but the third time.
Hmm.
We had Fantastic Four in 2005. We had a different Fantastic Four in 2015, and now we have a different Fantastic Four in 2025. Great cast, like really, really good actors. Takes place in a retro futuristic 1960s that's not the same universe that we're in. Directed by the WandaVision director. Should be interesting. We might get our first glimpse at Robert Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom at the end. Who knows? Um, Another one that kind of feels like make or break for. There's a lot of pressure on that movie because
Yeah.
Fantastic Four is, if you're a comic book person, you know that they're the first family of Marvel. They're one of the
Yeah.
first big properties that Marvel ever had as a hit,
Yeah.
and they've never really quite cracked the egg
Yeah.
when it comes to the movie
Miles
side of it. So
Teller with that famous line.
yeah, not great. But hey, who's playing the Human Torch in this one? Joseph Quinn. In 10 years, he'll have a Marvel role as a different character, and
Yes.
it'll be
Yeah.
great, and
As is
it'll be
tradition.
wonderful. Yeah. So, moving on, we're skipping August and September entirely for reasons unknown, and on October 10th. Disney is attempting to resurrect the Tron franchise with Tron Ares starring Jared Leto. I don't give a shit about that movie. I'll probably
It's
see it because I love Tron, but at the same time, I
uh,
just really don't care.
I I did not like the last one, even though I have just said that I'm hyped for Joseph
For
Kosinski's
Kaczynski.
newest movie. I did not like Tron Legacy. Obviously, the score is great from Daft Punk and
Yeah,
visuals are awesome, but like the script and story was just not great, and I was not
sure.
a fan of it. But I'm also not very excited about this. So yeah, I don't know
We
why
shall
they're
see.
making it. To be honest, like this feels like something where they're like enough people really like Tron Legacy and it has this cult following, so we're going to make this sequel, and then the sequel is not going to go well because Tron Legacy didn't do that well at the box office. It was
Not at
like it
all.
did okay, but it was way below what they wanted it to be.
Hmm.
And I don't think that this is going to surpass expectations either. So it almost feels like a Blade Runner 2049 situation
A
where
little
it's like,
bit.
oh, this one was such a cult hit. We got to make a sequel. And I love Blade Runner 2049. Don't get me wrong, but it was like a horrible flop. Like nobody went to see it.
Yeah,
Uh,
which is a
but
shame
yeah,
because it's one of the best sci-fi movies I think ever made.
yeah, I
But
love it. I love 2049. But
a little shame.
I it just showed that like the people that cared were a small but loud group, and it wasn't
Yeah.
like a wide hit.
Yep. So I guess we'll see October 10th whether or not that's good or not. Speaking of good, November 21st is Wicked for Good, which is the artist formerly known as Wicked Part 2. The first one was very successful. I feel like this one is going to be very successful, even though you have told me in the past that this is a much harder portion of the story to
I
go
don't
by
know that
based on the musical. So
I
we'll
don't know
see.
that it's harder to adapt. It's just the worst part of the music. Like the first act is better than the second act in the
Right.
play. The second act is like Wizard of Oz retelling, but prequelitis at the same time,
Hmm.
like alternate history Wizard of Oz, and it's not. Yeah, it's gonna suffer a lot from like the please clap moments. I can almost guarantee it because that's what happens
Well,
in the play.
we shall see.
Yeah,
It's going to make $1 billion no matter what. So
probably.
who cares? We're just a bunch
Yeah.
of idiots. November 26th, again, in the sequel camp, we have Zootopia 2. I've never seen Zootopia 1.
How have you not seen
Um,
the first one? Man,
oh, no.
first one's good. It's really good. You should
Do
see
you
it.
think this one will be good?
No,
Oh, okay,
you
great.
should see the first one.
Maybe someday. Maybe before Zootopia 2 comes out, I'll watch the first one
Yes.
and then go see the second one in movie theater. But enough of the kids playing around. Big Daddy Jim is going to take us home on December 19th. Avatar Fire and Ash. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Are
Yeah,
you
I'm
excited
hyped.
for this
Of
third Avatar
course.
movie?
Yeah, and I wonder if this one takes a bit of a pivot because the last two got by on pure spectacle, even though the story was not bad for either one. But I think the third one you can't really play that card a third time, so you got to
Sure.
really dive into something with more emotional stakes. And I think he's actually said something to that regard that he's making it a little bit more personal. So we'll
Yeah.
see.
He
I'm
also
never gonna
said
fade James
something.
Cameron until I die, like he's or until he dies, either one.
He said something along the lines of, "It's not the movie that you think you want; it's the movie that I know you need." And I
Yeah,
was like, "Yes, Jim,
he
tell me that it's what I need."
it is impossible to fade that man. Every single time, everyone's like, "Ah, no, this is gonna flop." He just
And
hits again.
yep, home run after home run after
Yep.
home run. So that does it for the blockbusters. Let's barrel through the indies real quick.
Yeah.
So March 7th, Mickey 17 finally comes out.
Yeah.
Bong Joon Ho, Robert Pattinson. I'm there. Are you there?
Yeah. I'm there.
Great. March 10th, Noah Baumbach has a new movie called Jay Kelly coming out, starring George Clooney. Are you there?
I am also there. I'm gonna
Yeah,
be
I'm
there
a
for
big.
like all these indie movies.
I know, right?
It's a great list of
It's a
like
good list.
directors putting out
Yeah.
movies this year.
And then we've run out of release dates here, but Eddington comes out this year, directed by Ari Aster, teaming up once again with Joaquin Phoenix, who he teamed up with for Beau is Afraid.
Yeah.
I love Ari Aster. Hereditary is great. Midsummer is great. Haven't caught Beau is Afraid yet, but
I haven't
heard that's a
either.
wild ride if you're into that sort of thing. I'm there. Uh, Wake Up Dead Man, a Knives Out mystery.
You're clearly
Ryan
there.
Johnson, like absolutely there. That's I have a Glass Onion poster hanging above the computer that I'm recording on right now. Jeremy Renner, Kaylee Spaney, Josh Brolin, Andrew Scott, Josh O'Connor, all joining Daniel Craig in this one. Should be tons of fun. The Battle of Bacton Cross, which I didn't know about this movie
I
until you
didn't
texted
either.
me about it.
Yep.
But apparently, it's a Paul Thomas Anderson movie starring Leonardo DiCaprio that has a $115 million budget and is being shot with IMAX cameras.
Yes.
Say no more.
Yep.
I'm in. Marty Supreme is coming out later this year, which is a Safdie joint, but it's only one of them. It's
Yep.
Josh Safdie, not Benny
Yep.
Safdie. We'll get to Benny later.
Yep.
This one stars Timothy Chalamet, and looks like it has some pretty manic energy based on some of
It
the set photos I've
it's
seen.
about table tennis, I think, is what I've heard. Like it's a
Great.
table tennis movie. I don't know,
As,
but
as
I'm
long
there.
as it's not pickleball, that's fine. We have Hamnet coming out from director Chloe Zhao, who hilariously misfired making a Marvel movie after winning an Oscar for Best Picture with Nomadland. Stars Paul Mescal and Jesse Buckley. I'm assuming it's a riff on Hamlet.
I think so. It's a movie, or it's sorry, it's a movie. It's a
It is a
book.
movie.
It's a book that came out in 2020.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a fictional account of William Shakespeare's son Hamnet. So
Oh,
yeah,
okay. Well, there you go. Um, sure, I'll see it.
focusing on his parents' grief. Huh. All right.
Sounds good. I'm in. Chloe Zhao's great
Why
with
did they
with
name their
character.
fictional
So
son Hamnet?
yeah, it's kind of weird, isn't it? Well, anyway, Materialists is coming out this year, which is directed by Celine Song, who famously directed Past Lives, which is one of Shane's
Yes.
favorite movies. It stars Pedro Pascal, Chris Evans, and Dakota Johnson. And boy, is this Chris Evans trying to say, I can still act, guys.
Yeah.
Don't keep shoving me into these shitty Amazon Netflix movies.
It's a love triangle movie too. So excited.
Between Celine and her partner,
Yeah.
they really have some shit to work out.
Yeah.
Anyway, Presence is coming out later this year from Steven Soderbergh. I believe that one is told entirely from a first person point of view.
Ghost point of
Yeah,
view. Yeah.
should be pretty exciting.
That's
I
this
love
month, I
Soderbergh.
think. I'm pretty sure it's this month.
Oh, is it great?
Yeah.
Um, then we have Sinners coming out from Ryan Coogler. I think this is coming out in April, actually, because
Okay.
it flip flopped with Mickey 17.
Got it.
Michael B. Jordan is the star times two in this. He plays twin brothers. It's supposedly a vampire story. I got to
It's
see the
Blade.
trailer for it on the largest IMAX screen in North
Oh, cool.
America, and it was fucking awesome.
Nice.
Very excited for that one. After the Hunt is coming out, directed by Luca Guadagnino. Does he ever stop working?
I guess not. He's
Jesus
just
Christ, man!
nonstop churning out movies.
He had Bones and All, Challengers, Queer, and now this, all
hmm
within like 2 or 3 years. Starring Julia Roberts and Andrew Garfield. Should be interesting. Like both those actors very much. Rounding out the Safdie circle is Benny Safdie's The Smashing Machine, which is from A24, starring The Rock. Dwayne The Rock Johnson, Rock the Dwayne Johnson.
It's an
He's
A24
playing,
movie.
and he's playing an MMA fighter,
Yep.
and I'm really curious to see how it goes. Because, like, you know how this is not a good analogy in any way, shape, or form, but Robin Williams always did slapsticky comedy.
Yeah.
He was always the funny guy, right?
hmm
And then a movie like 1 Hour Photo came out where he's like evil
hmm
and very, very bad. Or like when Bryan Cranston did 7 years of Malcolm in the Middle and then went on and did Breaking Bad. It was like
Yeah.
a whole different side of somebody.
Yeah.
I wonder if The Rock has that in him.
It, I think he's trying to have that in him for sure, and I would almost argue this is probably the intent of the movie is like give The Rock his moment. That's
Right.
not like big blockbuster typical Rock movie star.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I don't know. Maybe it could work.
Hey,
Benny
at
Safdie's
least
doing it.
for the first time in a long time, he probably won't wear like a tan jungle button down shirt.
Yeah.
That seems to be like his uniform for movies anymore.
He just shows up on set with one of those. Like, what's the
Yeah,
costume again?
for real. And then the last thing we got on our list here is Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein, which I'm very excited about. Oscar Isaac is the star of that. Del Toro is a monster. My only concern with that movie is that it's a Netflix.
Yeah.
So like
It'll come
we'll
out, 3 people will watch it, and we'll never talk
yeah.
about it again.
Yeah. And then the last thing we have on here is in all caps, probably missing a lot, which is our way of saying sorry for not catching your favorite movie if we didn't have it on the list. So Shane, I'm going to ask you, out of everything that's coming out next year, what are a handful of movies that you're most excited about?
So I have a list of 5, and they're in
Okay.
no particular order, but I've got F1 because I think that's going to be insane spectacle. Really interested to see how that goes, especially after how great Top Gun Maverick looked.
Okay.
Um, Two I've got is Mission Impossible Final Reckoning. It's Mission Impossible, Tom Cruise. I'm there day one. Biggest screen you can find.
Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely.
Three, Avatar Fire and Ash. Of course, Avatar. We both loved the first two. So, the third one's going to be uh, hopefully spectacular as well. And then the other two that I've got are smaller. So one is Marty Supreme. Uh, Timothy Chalamet is on a roll, and I don't think he
Sure
would
is.
take this role if he wasn't supremely confident in the script. And of course, Josh
Marty supremely
Safdie.
confident, you might say.
That was not intentional, but very good
But you
catch.
lobbed it up. I had to slam
I
dunk it.
did, I did.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
But yeah, seeing Josh Safdie do it, direct as well, that should be an awesome ride. And then the last one, this had to be my last one, right? It's Materialists. Like, Past Lives was one of my favorite movies. It was my favorite movie of 2023, one of my favorite recent movies that I've seen, and so getting to see Celine Song do something else, especially because it's a love triangle with Pedro Pascal and
Mhm.
Chris Evans. Like, come on,
Yeah,
it's right up my
should be a
alley.
lot of fun.
How about you?
Well, I made a list of 5 as well, and I told myself only one comic book movie. Not going to put more than one.
Okay.
Uh, I am very excited for both Fantastic Four and Superman, but I put Superman on my list because I think it's a much more important film
Hmm.
because an entire universe is riding on the success of that.
Yeah.
I have Sinners on my list. I love Ryan Coogler, but I've been missing the pre Black Panther Ryan Coogler for a
Yeah.
while now. Like
Yeah.
if you go back and watch Creed and Fruitvale Station and those like they're
Yeah.
really really good. And his partnership with Michael B. Jordan has been great. It's led to a
Hmm.
lot of great movies over the years. So I've got that on there. I've got Avatar 3 for all of the obvious reasons that we've talked about. I have F1 on my list also because from a cinematic experience
Yeah.
perspective, I think that movie's going to rip. And then the last one I have on my list is actually one that's not on the list that we went through already.
Oh, really?
It's Predator Badlands, which is
Oh, is that coming out as
it's
like
coming
a
out this
sequel?
year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
So it's not a sequel to Prey, but it's the same director and
Okay.
crew and whatnot. And Prey was like a wonderful
It was
little
great. Yeah.
surprise that I really did not see coming.
Yeah.
And this one takes place. So Prey was long before the Predator movies.
Yeah.
Predator Badlands is out in the future,
Oh,
and the the first person character is actually the Predator this time and not somebody else. So it should be interesting to see where that goes. And then one other one, if I have an honorable mention, Lee Winnell has a Wolfman movie coming out
that's
this
this
month.
month too, I
Actually,
think. Yeah.
he directed The Invisible Man back in 2020 with Elizabeth Moss. That was really good. He also made the movie Upgrade a few years before
Okay.
that, which I thought was really good. And he did a lot with very little in terms of budget. Um, and again, kind of similar to the How to Train Your Dragon thing with the theme park opening. There's 2 Frankenstein movies this year. There's a Dracula movie that just came out, and there's a Wolfman movie that's coming out in
Yeah.
January, all the same year that a new theme park opens that has a classic
Synergy.
Monsters Land. Um, really, really fascinating stuff. But yeah, it's so hard, man, to make a list of what you're most excited for because
Yeah.
this year there's a lot.
Yeah, and there's probably stuff on here that we either missed, because I know there's a Yorgos movie too.
Oh,
That
is there?
I think so.
Man,
But
there's
I
so
don't know
much.
the name of it, but he's coming out with a new one with Emma Stone.
Of course. And
But
I guess Jesse Plemons and Willem Dafoe probably too.
probably seems to be the trend. But there's also going to be movies from that like hit festivals from like first time directors
Right.
or something that we never see coming that is going to knock our socks off. So
Yeah. But I would say there was a slogan in the exhibition industry. So the movie theater changed. They were saying survive till 25, like
got it.
coming out of the pandemic, right?
Yeah.
Like it was a couple rough years. People didn't want to go back to the movies. Couple big hits kind of sprinkled throughout,
Hmm.
but 25 has always seemed like it's going to be one of those record breaking type years.
Yeah.
Could be the first one in a long time to come close to the success of 2019, which was a massive
Yeah.
year for the box office. So uh, definitely hoping that's the case. Hoping for a lot of great movies and hoping that a lot of these that we're that we're really looking forward to are going to be worth the squeeze. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Hyped.
well, that's it. We did that in
30
less
minutes,
than
pretty
30
good.
minutes.
Yeah.
Look at us. That's pretty solid. So that's going to wrap it up for this one, folks. We would love to hear your thoughts. What movies that are coming out this year are you excited for? Are you leaning towards the blockbusters? Are you looking forward to the indie movies? Is James Cameron on speed dial for whenever you need a good time? I don't know. Leave us a comment below and let us know your thoughts. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like this video if you like the content. Go back and check out our recap of the Golden Globes. We had a good time talking about the shenanigans that happened there. And stay tuned. Next week we'll have some more videos coming out. Plenty of movies to review this year, as you noticed today. So stay tuned for all that and so much more. And we'll see you guys in the next video.